Walking Dead.
Walking.
What? Walking Dead.
Oh, Walking Dead. All right, guys, welcome back to an episode of We Talking About. Today we're talking about episode 5 of...
6.
Episode 6! Oh, my Christ!
We could talk about episode 5 if you want.
6, season 7 of Walking Dead.
I like episode 5 better.
Yeah, this was something... I didn't hate this episode.
Okay.
And it was honestly... remember, I think like 2 episodes ago we were like we mentioned these characters. Like, I guess they're just somewhere in the thing. I forgot they'd even left.
Okay. I don't know if... Well, let's talk about that.
Sure.
Because when we were talking about when are we going to go back to Alexandria and stuff, and it was like, is Rick going to be there immediately? I don't know. And I was like, well, Father Gabriel's there, and you were like, yeah, and that like Respect the Hair Game guy's there, and we didn't know his name. His name is Heath because he's in this episode.
Yes.
And like that maybe triggered me or something, because I think by the end of our video for that, I'm like, and where the fuck's Tara or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think everyone else felt the same way, because in the previously on Walking Dead, they dedicated all this time to setting up the fact that Heath and Tara were going to go on this 2-weeker and like go away to like scavenge.
I totally
and all
forgot,
that
but when they showed that, I was like, oh yeah.
because she was going to be away, and she's like, her like girlfriend who's now dead was like, to like, you know, didn't they have this weird thing about saying I love you or something, right? It was this whole,
I was trying
it was a
to
whole
think,
fucking thing.
I'm like, okay, they left. So what actually has happened since they left? I was trying to think, like, I'm like, okay, so she was around for murdering the saviors,
'cause they were
and
outside.
left like right after that.
Yes.
So like a lot of shit has just gone to fuck.
Yes, there's a lot of news to give that they mercifully don't show us on camera
Yeah.
once she actually finally gets back to Alexandria. Spoiler alert, hopefully you'll watch the episode, because we're going to talk about the whole episode.
That's what this is.
This is a Tara and Heath, mostly Tara episode.
Yeah. Now Tara, was she pregnant in real life?
She's so fucking pregnant.
Right?
She's so pregnant.
But like, what is she? Did she already give birth, or she hadn't? I forgot. At Comic-Con, she was still pregnant, right?
No.
Or no, she
this
wasn't
year?
anymore.
Right. I think when this was filmed...
No, that's right. She wasn't anymore, but she was talking about it.
So I don't know when exactly she gave birth, but she's clearly, and again, this is awkward because, like, I'm a cisgendered white male, hetero, whatever the fuck, so I can't talk about this, but she's still showing signs of a recent pregnancy, let's put it that way.
Well, they had her in a looser shirt, like all the signs of, like, when you, like, you know how, like,
she does
they used to always do in sitcoms, the person who got
Yes.
pregnant would always be holding a big bag, or they'd have, like, a thing, or this and that.
Giant shrimp cocktail in front of them.
It was kind of like that. You notice
And
a lot more shots framed
Yes.
to avoid her size.
And they were doing that last season totally fine, or like whatever. And I think by this filming, she'd already given birth or whatever, but she doesn't quite look like she looked before.
Yeah.
And
they had her running, and I was like, yep, she's out of shape.
Well, yeah, as you would be. It's not like I'm saying, fuck you, you suck for doing this.
No,
It's
but just speaking
awkward or
for the
something.
character, where
Yes.
the character wasn't pregnant, nobody should be out of shape anymore.
No.
And they mention a thing of years in this episode. Did you catch that? They said something like at least 3 years, I think it was.
Yeah, I've been saying it's been like 2-3 years.
Yeah, so
I don't know the whole.
There should be a lot more issues than they're having with things after 3
okay.
years. Because it's nice to just hear it said, like.
Yes.
Because think about all the cars you're coming across. Those batteries haven't been running fucking forever.
Yes,
Think
right.
about just like the gas in the tank. Think about everything is bad, but we're allowing it, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Suspension of disbelief. So
I meant to look up like how often should you be like lubing guns and stuff for them to still work.
Well, yeah. I mean, Negan during last episode or the episode before made a comment, "You've been taking care of this gun" or whatever, something like that. So maintenance is and
not to say it's not a thing, but
it's an acknowledged part of the Walking Dead canon at the very least.
Sure
that it does take place.
Uh-huh.
But this episode, I guess we dive into what happened in this episode.
Sure.
It's the Tara episode. So we've been batting around for the last several weeks. Like, what's the next episode going to be? Well, are we going to go back to Carol now? Are we going to go dive in more with Daryl? Perhaps we're going to wait and see what happens when these people meet up. Maybe we're going all the way back to the... What are we going to do?
Next episode's got to be a Carol episode.
You
right?
would
Because
think?
you only had one this season,
Yes.
and we're on episode 7 already.
And we've been loosely predicting for 8 for the mid-season finale, like like Jesus and Carl get to Negan's with whatever.
And that will be
happening.
Jesus, Carl, and Daryl.
Right. So
in
you need
one
to
thing.
pad.
So you've got to give us.
So you have a whole episode 7 now to pad out and hopefully fill out some more of Carol.
And there's
stuff.
no reason you have to do a one area. Like it could be a
just give us some updates.
A Rick and
the
castle.
Yeah, because even with the other episode being mostly Hilltop, we still got some Rick and Michonne updates in the very beginning, right? Like it's not as strict, but for a while it was 100% strict. So I certainly did not expect to get a purely Tara episode or whatever. I don't hate Tara, but I was like, I kind of hate this episode.
I always wonder how pay works in these shows, because once you get to a certain level of fame and you're in the credits, I think you're paid every episode,
right?
Like, period.
Yes.
And I wonder, it's like, well, I was the only one in this episode. Do I get paid 3 times as much? Like,
right.
And I don't know if they do.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan got paid for this episode or something, right? Even though he was not in this episode at all.
As far as I know, you're paying them per episode at a certain level because you're like, I'm the star. Do you want my name on the front? Fuck you.
I noticed in the opening credits, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's name is now in there, right? I don't know if the governor's name was always in there where he was alive or whatever. He's like a bigger star, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, I've wondered that too. Like on like an episode of Voyager where you only see Neelix once in passing. Is that still the same paycheck as if it's like a Neelix heavy episode?
I think it's you appeared. Period. You had a line. Done.
How does the contracts work?
Yeah.
Here though, a lot of. I mean, you want to just start. They're on the beach.
So she's washed up on the beach. There's a young girl and a middle girl,
less young girl,
like a early 20s something girl, and they're just doing their patrolling, murdering zombies, finding teddy bears,
sticking some zombies, finding some shit on the beach.
That little girl's kind of terrifying.
Yes,
with how much she loves murder.
I want to. We're supposed to.
And I want to kill her.
I want to.
I want to put this blunt tool through her brain.
And later they say, like, well, she's never had, she hasn't had to do it yet. And I'm like, really? Oh, you seem super.
That might be why she's so eager.
You're on like a hair trigger to get this out of the way.
Yeah.
You should hold on for as long as you can, young girl. No,
she'll kill Negan eventually.
Ooh. I like this prediction. I'm going to hold you to that.
Sure.
So the less young girl is like, Cindy is like, no, she's not a zombie. We shouldn't. No, let's just, we don't want to kill this person.
We kill all strangers.
Right. So then they do a quick flashback where Heath is like, we only got 8 cans of, rusty cans of okra and a bottle of aspirin. Heath goes on to talk about how he is not happy about all the murder.
Oh yeah, well, because that's not what the Alexandria people signed on for. They're a bunch of chicken shit people. Like they didn't survive this apocalypse. They just like lived it.
And he almost hopefully they loop around. But he even said something like, in Alexandria, we thought it doesn't matter or something like that. And I was like, you thought what? What is your crazy misconception about the apocalypse? Please tell me. I want to know desperately what you thought that's been shattered now. Like fill that out for me. Spell it out for me. The one thing that you should actually spell out. Spell that out. I want to hear you say it.
They ain't gonna say it.
They should come back and say it.
But we do find, there's a cool little community here.
At some point, I wrote down No Man's Land because this is I think I never got over the nausea of realizing this was going to be a No Man's Land episode. Because literally everything, and I think No Man's Land with the man's underline is from Briscoe County Jr., right? I think something like that. Every fucking show, I think, not every show, but I think Hercules has an episode like this.
Well, the Amazons.
But literally, there's Twilight Zone episodes. There's always fucking episodes. Z Nation, similar.
But this one had a cool twist on it where it was not by choice.
I guess.
So they didn't want, and it wasn't a thing where they're like, down the river, there's a group of only men. We trade supplies and birth. They keep the boys, we keep the girls.
Snoo.
But this was, Negan, spoiler.
I was going to say. So
killed all the men and boys.
Right, so you eventually find that out, which does change stuff. But for the entire middle part where I didn't know that, I was even more like, ugh, why are we doing the same thing that we always do with everything on these shows?
I meant to actually go back after that because there was a scene where there was 3 or 4 little kids running, and I meant to go back to see if any of those was a boy or not because they said killed all the boys over 10. So and not that there's potentially 1 million kids in this post-apocalyptic world, but there's possible that there was 1 or 2 under 10.
Right. So I didn't. So like that was right in the beginning, right, where like Tara's creeping,
Yes.
tracking Cindy.
And she's like, they're having a good time? What is this?
Well, and you see like one, woman on patrol, and then a few women doing that, and then a woman there doing that, or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, and that's when I wrote "No Man's Land" we've stumbled upon here. I wrote shooting dumb shit.
How many
Comma.
bullets got fired at her and did not hit her at all?
Yes.
I was like, how are you guys alive?
I don't know.
You can't hit a pregnant woman?
And the first bullet, well, she's not pregnant in the show. She's pregnant in real life.
Yeah.
But yes, that doesn't add to the imagery of like, you're a proud warrior, Tara. And she's like, literally like, I'm on maternity leave.
She's like, I was able to disarm your best because what?
You're like left-hand woman. I was able to like butt her in the face and like catch her by surprise. I kind of hate this whole thing. I don't know. They're like shooting her. The first couple of shots are when she doesn't know anyone's even going to shoot at her. They like go to get the guns, and and Tara's like, "This is weird. Is something happening?" Oh, it's me, and then has to like run or whatever the fuck.
They didn't show what she did that got her like alerted though. I would have liked to have known like what was the moment, like what gave you away. I like their little like was like they're like clicker like there's someone here.
Right. Because at first that was confusing me like too. But to your thing, I don't think that there were any young boys even anyway. I know this doesn't have any of the same horrible tropes of like the woman only community, and I don't hate women, which we'll get into in a separate thing at some point. But it's just so cliche and like bad and weird to me to do this sort of thing.
It didn't strike me as cliche just because of the explanation.
It has an angle. It definitely does have an
angle.
To
more about Negan and his craziness, like to kill all the men makes totally sense. To draw your line at 10 for the age of a man, that's very interesting. And it could just be the reason there has to be like boys under 10 is because why would you not just say he killed all the boys? There had to have been a couple that survived, and if we ever see them again, we may see those kids. But maybe
yes, not. If we revisit this, no. So
I like where they are. I like the idea that they packed up, they ran, they hid. Yes, they're on like a little tiny island that has one way in, or it seems one way in,
or whatever.
And they have food. They're quiet. Their weird little bell system to distract zombies.
Right, fish bells.
But there should be a point where like there shouldn't be any zombies at all. Like you should be able to the island isn't huge. They should have been able to walk the island, kill every zombie. If there's only one way in, or if there's multiple ways in, but they've treated them the same way where they've blockaded them.
Yeah,
where are zombies coming from? I didn't notice the fence when Tara first got in, but there was clearly a fence when they left.
Right. Well, and that bridge, was that the bridge that led to their place? Is that it? Okay. Because they talked about bridges and stuff. All right. So I loved the angle here. That like led to this and the whole Negan thing, and that girl at the end being all like super like afraid about it, like nope, we can't, we have to stay hidden, it's horrible and all that stuff, and that's cool, and it actually answers some of the stuff that I've been talking about on these videos, where like me as like a civilized human being who cares about like logistics, my reaction was like, why are you taking out Abraham and Glenn? They're like two of like the strongest, best like earners for you, and you're trying to like do this whole thing, and you as a caveman pointed out that like well, they're also like the biggest threats and you have to kill everyone. And I was like, well, you can't just kill all the able-bodied men and like expect to get as much return on your like
you don't need as much
franchise
though,
or whatever.
I think was my point at the
well,
time.
Your point
is that you just need something for nothing.
Your point the whole time has been like 100% of like a sure thing is a lot more than like any risk of like
think about like
more,
any game
like
where you had an option to like kill something and you're like, it would be horrible overkill. And it bites you in the ass in any way possible. It's like, I guess I should have wasted 3 bullets, killed that thing, and just been like, it's done.
Yeah, and it may have actually been sexist of me, quite frankly, to be like, you can't just kill all the men. That's just how I think about this weird society where everything's stripped down and everything's like
when
that.
Everything is just seems, looting and growing vegetables, it's you don't really need that much strength because you have all day, every day.
And there's a lot of guns and stuff anyway, and like honestly, you're just sending these people out to do stuff or farm for you or raise animals for you or do whatever for you.
Yeah.
And if it helps you with your whatever the hell. So no, I did like that. That part was fine. It just seemed like everything that I liked about this episode, everything that that I got out of it was like it's kind of like Morgan's origin episode where I'm like, you didn't have to put the brakes on the entire rest of the fucking world just to tell me this story. This could have been part of something else, and I would have been fine with that. This could have been cutting to this or doing something interesting. You didn't have to take me away to this other place. You could have just had this happen,
I was okay with it. And I was okay with the Morgan one too. I liked that story. I think every once in a while these things are okay. It sets up the world, and it builds the mystery, and it's not like the lazy writing in some shows where it's like, oh, I did this and that. Like they're well written, they're interesting. Yeah. They're just the only thing that makes them bad is that they're not the exact thing you want. There's nothing on its own bad about these.
No.
episodes.
They are not necessarily bad, and that's what I was trying to say. Is that like I like what happens, and I liked Morgan's origin too. It's just that when I think back to, like, it took a whole episode out of my fucking shit to do this to me. Fuck. Like, you could have been more, like, efficient or whatever.
I was more upset with the Daryl episode than this or the Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of the episodes, like, someone else might be upset about the Carol episode where it took an entire thing just to be like, you're not having this, I guess you're going to stay, or whatever the fuck. Like, right? Like, yeah. I don't know. That's just my overall complaint about the whole thing being sort of, like, dragged out or something now. But I don't know. I'm just.
Well, they gotta make. What are they doing? 16 episodes?
Yeah.
They gotta make 16.
I know, and I have a love-hate relationship with that.
They're not farming anymore, though, so that's something.
I guess I was never even triggered by the farming.
That seemed to be like so many people's issue was like they're farming, they're still farming. Why are they farming? And I'm like, because they want to live. What do you mean?
Actually, yeah. Come to think of it, I guess we should address that because we weren't talking about the show back then, but. Like, had you asked me, like, until I heard someone else say, why is there so much farming? I never even thought of it as a lot of farming, because it was, like, a lot of conversations with, like, Rick and Herschel, or, like, Rick and Daryl and all different people talking about trying to build a community and what to do and the governor and all this stuff. I really liked a lot of those scenes, because they were good. Yeah. Like, a lot of good actors, like, doing acting stuff.
Well, so a lot of people just want action. They don't care about the things that build things up. And, like, that's the majority of the world, and that's why so many bad movies and bad shows have, like, a following and views and this and that, because people are stupid.
My thing is always, and this goes to like Transformers and stuff like that, is like put all that action in there still, but then just make the rest of it also good. And imagine how much money it would make then. It wouldn't only be $2 billion; it would be like $10 billion. It would destroy the world.
The world doesn't work that way. They're pandering to the lowest common denominator.
The Academy. I don't think people like those movies because of all those bad things. Though. I think that they just
they're like,
don't
so
care.
The movie's going to be 2 hours long, so it has to be like 93% action. If we made it 30% plot. It would ruin the whole thing, and all our like frat boys and morons, people that just come in here occasionally and just want to see these like popcorn movies and bullshit. They're gonna be like, "What are you doing? Why is there so much talking?"
Don't even add more plot. Just take the existing plot and make it not as horrible.
Can't do that.
That's always my thing. Is like you could do this with the same. I don't know. This is very much out of the whatever. I have a lot of notes here, but not much is really worth talking about. Except I liked that bridge a lot. I liked that it was a walled-off bridge that people were going to try to live on. I was like, this could work.
It was weird though with the sand and the zombies. I was like, what was that about? Did they like were there zombies there and they're like dump sand on them, or like were they in the sand? How did that work?
It seems that way. Either people were killed in like a sand accident and now there's zombies in there, or they panicked and dumped because it was like in like dumped position, right?
Because there were two trucks back to back like dumped. Like,
I don't know what that was.
Like they could have maybe corralled zombies by backing up and then just crushed them with it. But
I don't know.
And when she pulled that bag out, which you never got to see what was in that bag.
No. Could be something good.
It could have been all guns. I thought it was going to be all guns because
there's a lot of ammo in the sand.
I was like, all right. Well, no, those were spent shells.
That's what I mean. But weaponry around or whatever.
But then she pulled that shit out, and that like an avalanche of horrible.
An avalanche, and then all the zombies all of a sudden. That's just how the show is. That's normal or whatever. I wrote down earlier, like, Heath pieces out.
Well,
and then later I was like,
I thought that was almost like
a
cop-out. So you think Heath left her for dead, and then you find out at the end, like, no, he came back and, like, saved her.
He was just repositioning to, like, help her harder, and then she fell off the thing because
and
zombies
I was
were on her. Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of things not always being neat with a bow.
Yeah.
Like people know, like... you have to survive because if we both die, we're both dead.
Yes.
Like sometimes you have to leave
cans of Oker back. No, and like he even had like all the body language. Like it was an obvious fake out on like their part. Like he had all the body language of like this is too much. I have to go. Fuck and like leaving and all that stuff. and then the fake out with like the like female zombie
who
with
looks
similar
just
hair,
like him.
and I was like, God damn it! I think that too. I think like I had this whole early period of like fucking cliche, fuck you, and then it was like, okay, no, this is interesting, and like her escape was kind of interesting, and then just more bullshit at the end where I'm like, God
whenever
damn
there's
it.
scenes where there's like the sniper and the person fighting,
that.
I'm always very skeptical of those
Sure.
situations because you never know what way someone's going to bob to avoid in the fight and then just
Right.
get shot. They're always shooting the one like right next to them when I think they should be shooting the ones that are like 2 out
So that was
to
like
give them a chance to like
that,
proceed.
That was when it went like downhill. When like her and Cindy are like running up the cars, and then she's doing her thing, and then like a zombie's head explodes next to her, and then like the camera focus like jogs back, and she's like thumbs up and behind her, thanks, and all that bullshit thing.
Yeah.
And then like the fake out with Heath, and he's still no. That's when I was like, fuck you, I hate this show again. Stop all this shit.
Whenever I see people like doing the car runs, it's always either like when it's a wet scene or like this where it's like just dusty as fuck.
Yep.
I'm like, there's like a 30 to 80% chance you're gonna slip and break your fucking life.
You're gonna break your life on that car.
Because like it's glass and metal, and you're running, and like it's not so much the run itself; it's the when you jump,
From
and now
car to
you have
car.
no feet, and you land, and just go like landing on a wet slide, like. Oh,
I didn't even think of that. It just seemed like kind of a like a dumb thing to do. I guess there were zombies on the ground level, but I don't know. I think they were like, this will look cool, and I always like resent that when you're like, give me something that makes some sort of
if
sense
they
here.
did that slowly, I wouldn't have had as big
More
of an
slow,
issue with
okay.
it because
There you go.
you're in. And everything should be slow in the zombie apocalypse, unless you're being chased to die. But they have like a lead where they're high up enough where it's not like imminent danger.
Yeah.
But the making it fast completely can make you slip into the worst danger of your life.
Yeah, I would be, and I'm already like a cautious person, but like when dealing with zombies, I'd be like, okay, we have time. They're zombies. Like we can just handle this very not fancily, very like slowly or whatever the fuck.
Like when people are walking in buildings and like doing really sharp turns around things, I'm like, oh my god, go slow as fuck. Like throw a can. Did you hear something? No. Okay, keep doing that because you only get one life. This isn't a video game. If you die, it's over, and then you're a fucking zombie.
Well, I was gonna say, and it's a one-hit kill.
Yes.
If you open the door and a zombie bites your hand, like it's okay.
I'm
fuck,
dead.
I'm done already. Everything's over. Everything I was thinking about my whole life is over. The part that I liked though,
My hands.
these hands. When I said that I liked her escape, I actually liked that they had this whole long dinner scene where she said, we could do this, we could change, blah, 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 and talks all this fucking shit,
Yeah.
and then has the two not women escorting her out, and I was like, whoa, like immediately I assume you two were like, they're just going to gank her. This is weird. Why are they doing it like this?
When they, well, because in a shot, in the first seconds of them walking, it looked like one had a gun on her, and I was like, wait a minute, is she still the prisoner? And then like they're like holding the guns, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's gonna happen here? And then when she's like, I'll get it, and runs, I'm like, okay, good, she knew too.
But that was great. Her whole thing, like, I'll do it, and just like ran out, and then looks at the zombie like, oh god, and then turns just in time and runs away.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I liked that a lot. That was cool because
That
it
was
shows that she's scrappy and that it was an obvious thing. And again, like, because like. It was a fake out for us, but unlike the Heath thing, it was a fake because like the whole Heath fake out was just that we didn't have the same camera angle that like Tara had or something like that.
Yeah.
This was a fake out where people were literally deceiving the one character that we know and therefore the audience, and you got to go on this thing where like, this feels weird. Okay, and like the girl behind her like pulls out a knife, like, I'm gonna do this, but there's like hesitation. Like, well, I'm supposed to just kill you, though. I don't really want to go all the way over there. And, like, right? And then she's like, I'll do it. A weird thing. No, I like that a lot.
I
like that
wonder
much,
if she would have stayed if they would have killed her or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's hard to say. And the only reason they didn't kill her in the village is because the granddaughter would have been like, no.
You're right.
Or else it would have been real simple, just kill her.
I was
Done.
going to say, like this should be much more simple. I wonder why they even risked that. But they sent out 2 people with her to be like,
Yeah.
go take care of this.
And those people totally knew from the beginning because when it was being phrased, the one that she gun-butted was like, I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it. Well, that's fine, or whatever. And then Cindy wanted to go, and they were like, no. And then the next morning, it was like, where's Cindy? I want to say goodbye. And it was like, she's up sulking in her room. I thought they were gonna after like
be tied up or something.
Yeah, be fucking like tied to the chair or whatever. But she had snuck out and gone around to be with her for the shooty.
Yeah.
Part of me thought like this is a new character or whatever, because you have seen Cindy since like the beach, and then again, and then now sniping, and like at the end,
I'm a really good shot.
At the end, just being hauled off and all that stuff. So part of me was like, new character on the show. We just lost some characters. We got to restore the cast.
And maybe if they do swing all together, I don't know what it will take, because if she didn't break her promise about telling the rest of people about them when she found out that her girl was dead, I don't know if anything will drag that out of her. So that might have been a one-time only. We don't see them again.
Yeah.
But they certainly had an arsenal.
Yes, so that's actually that's kind of like the underlined thing at the end here. We still don't know where Heath is, but she found some weird card that I've never seen before. Some other shit happens, but she's talking to Rosita when she finally gets back to Alexandria, and Rosita's literally like describing the place she's never seen. In effect, if only there was some place with like people and like lots of guns, something we could just go.
That
and, like,
felt too on the nose.
It was
like,
crazy on the nose.
Here?
And then Tara just like, I mean, I didn't see any places like that. And all that stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
And Heath wasn't there when she got back, and I was like, I wonder what the fuck happened to him. Will we find that he isn't with the Saviors?
Yes,
will Jesus find them? Will he be like the fourth man in that thing?
That would be cool, actually. I like him.
I don't dislike Heath either, and I was almost a little disappointed when I thought he was dead.
I know. I thought he was like super dead. I'm like he looks like a whole different person. He's so emaciated now as a zombie after like a week or whatever, and he was a different person. No, but like that, like peel out and whatever she found had that look of.
What was that card? Like P177
that's what I was talking about.
Or something?
Yeah, it was just 3 Ps.
Oh, 3 Ps.
I drew a picture of it. It's just,
I see.
It's just 3 Ps.
3 Ps in a box.
It's just 3 Ps, but it looked like an
like
ID
a swipe card,
an
or
ID
something.
badge. Yeah, like a swipe, like a tap card for something, which is weird. But I don't know what that could have been from. Maybe we're supposed to know what that is. The satellite.
It didn't ring a damn bell with me. I'm like,
no, I got nothing for that. But
I liked when she was in that
somewhere.
glasses place, and she like has the gaudy glasses in the next scene walking, and I was like, yeah. And I even in my head was like, I think I would pick the most ugly, atrocious glasses possible because they would stand out and be a blah blah. And like she kind of did that.
Well, to stand out how? As like you
just like there are no glasses in the future. I can wear whatever I want because I'm Tank Girl. Like
okay, cool.
Was my thought.
Because then like your enemies like pause. Like, is that a real person? No one would ever wear those glasses. And then you have the drop on them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
It's got to be strategic. You can't just fuck around with your accessories here in like the world.
I probably would have grabbed a couple because who knows next time you're going to see sunglasses and like your eyes are always going to be hit by sun.
Exactly, and that might give you the edge in a crucial battle.
It certainly could. Sun in the eyes. Think about pirates and eye patches and bullshit.
Then you can fight with their back to the sun without any sort of disadvantage.
Well, sunglasses aren't like magic.
They're magic stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're magic apparently.
They're magic, and you can see in the dark just fine with them. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. So what else is magic?
What else is magic?
Is there anything else in that thing before I wrap this puppy up?
Really early on in that like trailer, Tara had a gun, and like on like the hilt there was an engraving of what looked like Lucille. Like that's like the savior thing. Am I crazy? Do you remember this?
I saw something on there. It looked like a weird stick with snakes on it or something. I didn't know what it was.
Or a bat with barbed wire around it.
Maybe.
I thought it was Lucille. If it's not, that's really dumb that would be like that. So we've gone through a whole episode. We've really only resolved like 2.5 characters, and like two, 1.5 of them we still don't know what the fuck is happening with them, and we just know that Tara has now moved and made it back to Alexandria,
yes.
And Rosita is still like, we have to make it right. We got to gank these fools. We got to do this.
Yeah.
And Eugene's
and
like,
she may or may not have one bullet.
Cry face, Eugene. Welcome back. Fuck. I got some news.
I don't want to tell you.
I'll let her tell you.
Affirmative.
I'm not a scientist. That's my favorite line I think of the entire show. When they're about to go through and it's like, it's worth it. We gotta do this mission. He's like, I'm not a scientist. Just like freaks out and says it or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful. Whatever. We're back in the good old days. We were talking about being a scientist and going to Atlanta or whatever.